University Podcast. Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the SOC University Podcast. This is the God No Gang with Jace Bombero. Jace Bombero. Again, we're
What's
trying
up? What's up?
something different every single week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So for everybody that's new, right? So what we're gonna do is we're putting up 5 different topics on the screen. You can see how's your week, bounce back, music, entertainment, sports, and then random. And what we're gonna do is we got a timer up here at the top. So we're gonna give ourselves 5 minutes for each topic. That way we can just kind of stay on topic, float and move along too as well. So what's going on, bro? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's been a hectic week, but man, I'm still smiling, still doing what I need to do. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely.
You know. So
Before we start, shout out to the shirts, man. He got some.
God No Gang. Look at that. Look at
Nice.
that. We're gonna start pressing more of these.
For sure.
Just because you men out there want some shirts, T-shirts, and all that.
Yep.
We're gonna do that.
What made you come up with that? The God No Gang.
Well, because we rely on the people around us a lot. You understand? So and when we should rely on God, you know what I mean? Because
Got you.
at the end of the day, who's gonna be there for us? God.
Absolutely.
No gang, no brother, no sister,
Absolutely.
no business, nothing like that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's dope. That's dope. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. Jump into the first one. Topic number 1. 5 minutes starts now. How's your week, bro?
Bro,
How's your
like
week?
I was saying, like it was like like last week, your week was like the worst. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I think mine was almost there. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like there's a lot of trials and tribulations this week.
Okay.
But like I said before, God is good, and I'm still here. I'm still kicking. Whoever tried to throw dirt on me,
Yeah.
just planted a seed and
Yeah.
watch that seed grow, bro. So
Yeah.
that's all I can say. You understand?
Do you think that? I mean, of course, you think everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens
Right.
for a reason.
Do you think the timing was right?
I think everything is written. It's already written. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
my timing is not God's timing,
Yeah.
and vice versa. So I'm here. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
Best thing to do is face it. You know what I mean? And not run from it.
Right. No, I can understand that.
Like, how was your week, bro?
My week was better, right? I'll tell you a little bit about what happened to me. So I ended up coming home, and I see all these cars across the street, and there was all these people there, and there ended up being a estate sale for this property that was across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So I went over there, ended up talking to them, and they ended up giving me the name to the guy that was selling the house. Long story short, the guy that I spoke to that owned the house, he was like, do you only buy houses in Georgia? I mean, do you only buy houses in Douglasville? Because there's another house in Atlanta that I'm trying to get rid of. I'm like, of course, so we go there, walk through the property. We send somebody out there to do it, for the Matterport. They take pictures, they do 3D, everything. We come down to the price that he specifically wanted to buy the house from him. And he's like, nah, I think I kind of want to wait. And I'm like, wait a minute. You came to me with trying to buy the house. I'm ready to buy it in 2-3 days. But then now you don't want to sell it to me. So it just made me think like he already wasn't trying to sell it, or he didn't think he was going to be able to get the number that he was trying to get for it. Right. It's like, no, I have to, look into some more properties, see whatever is selling in the area, stuff like that. And I'm just like, well, we were nothing but open and honest with you, right? If you just needed more time, just say you needed more time,
Mm-hmm.
right? No, but that was going to be a pretty significant, deal for me, as far as investing. But it didn't end up working out the way I wanted to. But we got another call Wednesday. So I was on a high, you know what I'm saying? Even the night before when I met, I couldn't really sleep. But then all that just went away when I'm just like, takes forever. But I'm just realizing things happen when they're supposed to.
That's right.
Yeah. And regardless of if it happens Wednesday, if it never happens, it is what it is. I don't get so much worked. I learned that from you, not to get so much worked up about stuff anymore.
There's a season and time for everything. So
yeah,
due time, man. Due time, it's gonna happen. I mean, yeah. But how's that fasting been for you though?
The fasting's been good. So I would say at least 5 days out of the week, from 7 a.m. to after I drop my boys off to 7 p.m. I'm not eating at all. Right, I'm just drinking water. Today I had a little bit to eat, very little. You can fit it in my hand. Around 4:00, but besides that, I haven't eaten. And it's funny, we were having a conversation about after we started eating, the food just tasted.
Yeah. Like today when I started eating, I was like, oh my, it didn't taste right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
The power of fasting though, like why do you fast?
Why do I fast? For spiritual reasons and health reasons, to regenerate my body, my spirit, my mind. I know my mind is now a lot clearer. You understand, like real clear than it was before. Less stress, and I lost like 10 pounds.
Oh, that's good. I know you were trying to.
You know what I mean? I lost
to get that down.
Like 10 pounds. So I mean, that's not the main purpose. It's just the idea of getting back my health.
Right.
Whether it's mental, spiritual, physical. You know
right.
What I mean? So that's my bounce back stage. You know what I'm saying?
And I definitely know after you have a certain amount of time where you not eating, your body starts to eat fat and everything else too. And I definitely see how it can be. You're definitely more clear and alert, because I feel like I feel everything, like everything. Everything's alert.
It's a struggle, because I started off at 8 hours and then did it for 12 hours, did it for 16, and I finally did it for 24 hours, So
that's crazy. 24 hours.
Man, it's rough, but you know, it's that discipline, man.
Yeah. People be saying that, but I'm like, I don't be fasting. You say you do, but you don't be fasting at all. They be sneaking food in all the time.
Little bag of Cheerios.
Absolutely. Something. All right, let's go on to bounce back. Why did you want us to talk about bounce back? What
so
does
bounce
that mean
back, man, because you know how we talk about how our week went, and how we bounce back is like what we doing to, if we got knocked down, what we doing to get back up?
Right.
If things ain't going right, what are we doing to get that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people focus on, this happened to me, and they don't do anything
about it.
They want people to have pity for them, instead of just, how's your bounce back game? How you doing? Like, so I mean, because every day we should set goals. Every week we should set goals. Every month we should set goals. Every year we should set goals. You know what I mean? And I know you're a goal setter though.
Mm-hmm.
You can look all over the house and there's things, there's things out. You know what I mean? There's things out. You're a goal setter. Like when you were talking about the real estate thing, what happens now after it didn't go through the way you planned?
Yeah.
You have ideas in your head, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. No, I totally agree with that. Right. Bouncing back that might be one of the biggest traits that pretty much somebody can have. Like what's their ability to recover from whatever it is. Like our dad would always say, I remember he said to me, like, it's okay if you get upset. It's okay if you get frustrated, all those things. But the real superstars get over it faster than everybody else. How quick, how fast are you going to be able to get over whatever it is, and then like get back to whatever your normal routine is. So I always try to think about that. Like even my boys, I try to tell them like it's okay if like something goes wrong. Like you can get upset. Everybody gets upset, frustrated, but how long are you going to dwell on whatever that is? Like how's your recovery? You know, I think that's like super important too as well. And then just us in general as men, bro, like we gonna be dealing with setbacks and having to bounce back all the time.
Yeah. And people and you're right. Like we're gonna have this all the time. It's just gonna be another level or another way. It's gonna be a setback. How are we gonna get back into that? And another thing is always good to have people around you, solid people around you that will help you up. You know.
Yeah.
There's a story in the Bible. I always bring biblical references. There's a story in the Bible where Moses, every time he raised his hands up, they would win the war. And then when his hands lowered down,
wait, what? Every time he raised his hand,
every time the character in the Bible, I can't remember who it is, he raised his hands up like this, they would win the battle. And then when he dropped his hands down, they would start losing. So the people around him would hold his hands up so they could win the battle.
Okay.
And we need people that can hold us up. You know, when we can't hold ourselves up. You know
okay.
What I mean?
Okay.
And that's what this podcast is basically here for, to help one another.
Yeah.
Brothers to get up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I feel that. And also too, like, and we discussed this before, like, because I've even had other endeavors, like as far as creating content, podcasts, being in the music industry, all different types of things. But I just wanted to bounce back with something that I felt was like real and genuine to me too as well, right? Because there's a lot of things that we can talk about, but I want to talk about like real stuff that I'm dealing with, that we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really what I want to talk about.
And that's missing today on social media, the real stuff. You only see the 30-second good part.
Yeah.
You don't see like the real struggles we have. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. No, I think that's man, when you think about it, how just even think about it in a day, how many times does something that's planned doesn't go your way, and how many times do you have to recover or bounce back from that during a regular day?
Right. Yeah.
Like it happens all the time. And I think we don't think about it like that.
Yeah,
we're just so used to it.
Yeah.
And didn't you say something about we have how many decisions or thoughts?
About 7,000.
7,000.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously all 7,000 of those is, I know for me, it's probably 6,000.
You probably more because you don't even sleep. You know, we need to talk about that too one day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's probably tons of them that I'm not even thinking about or realizing that go wrong. So yeah, I'm dealing with that all the time. All right, next we're gonna go up to music and entertainment. Music and entertainment.
Oh, what can I say?
What do you think about? There was recently where like there was a full video that come out. Somebody sent it to me that there was a judge that was like an off-duty judge. She ended up getting arrested she was in Georgia, Atlanta. And they ended up releasing the full video of that, right? In your opinion, why do you think, and I'm just saying that because as far as entertainment, what do you think is the purpose of them releasing footage like that, body cam footage? Is that to justify the person or justify the system, or like why do you think they do that?
More than likely they want to show
that person was wrong.
Yes, basically.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what more than likely they want to show. Like, yeah, we're not all bad, you know, and look what they did. You only hear one story because anytime you hear about police and everything, you hear about how bad they are,
Right.
and not the good ones. There's a whole bunch of good ones out
Right.
there, you know, like
Hmm.
so sometimes the video don't lie though. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
video don't lie. So I'm not aware of it. Like I don't watch too much news and all of that, but I don't know why they did that.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you what I think. You know, I always think something different,
Okay,
weird.
yeah.
So they released that of her, whatever, in general. But it seems like sometimes they'll release stuff fast and they'll release stuff slow too as well, right? I don't think the videos mean anything. I don't think the videos are gonna determine anything, right? I think just like anything within in the entertainment or media, whatever, it's just a way to control what we're thinking and what we think we know, right?
Mhm.
Because if we think something is going one way or went one way, and then they release the footage and it's something completely different, then we're always second guessing our judgments based on, you know, what actually we think happened compared to what the video is showing us, right?
Mhm.
So then when we do see stuff that's real, that really happened, we're like, I don't know if that's really what happened. Because y'all were just watching some body cam stuff the other
Yes.
day.
Uh-huh.
Jayla, y'all were watching
Yeah.
that, right?
Mhm.
I don't even know how y'all can watch that stuff. But no, I think it's just to have people confused. So you don't know what to think anymore. Because if you think about it, in the media, entertainment in general, we only know what we think, and then we know what we see on TV.
Correct. Yeah.
And it can be anything.
Yeah.
Just like you talked about the whole, you know, stuff we see on social media all the time.
Yeah.
And there was this guy, another thing too, there was this guy that put out this video of his morning routine. It started at like 3:30 in the morning, bro. He got up, ripped the tape off his mouth to help him sleep better, put his face in a bowl of cold water with ice. He ran on the treadmill super fast. Then he was eating a banana. Then he was wiping the banana peel, the inside of the banana on his face. He was doing all these other things. And I'm just like, this is really entertainment because there's no way you do this every single day. He might, right? But it was like 4 hours long.
Hmm.
Is it that serious, man?
I don't know. Maybe people do things for clout or to get likes and all that. You know, sometimes the genuine part of people is gone.
Yeah.
When it comes to their camera, man. So,
Yeah. I just want the real stuff because I'm just like, I don't know many people where their house is spotless and like that all the time and everything is perfect all the time, right? He just made it seem like it was perfect. Like, do you feel like people try to act?
well, being in the music industry, that happens a lot where people put the camera in front of, you know, the stage and all that, and not knowing that there's hardly anybody in the audience,
in the background.
and they're hardly there. Oh, we got to get this angle and all that, you know, and that's cool because you don't want people to think like nobody's listening.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, for me myself, like, am I not being fruitful in my ministry, music, or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's why that's an example of fruit, because I don't just do any events. You know me, you know,
Right,
like,
for sure.
I have to be led by God to do
To
an
do it.
event. I can't just do any event because a lot of times it's just preaching to the choir events. You know what I
Right.
mean? So like, that ain't my mission. That might be somebody else's,
Right.
but that ain't my purpose. My purpose is to reach people that it don't get to.
Right. I also think that is just, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like the perfect stuff and there's no authenticity like it used to be.
Mhm.
Everything has to be. I don't know. It just see a lot of stuff sometimes seem make believe all the time. Like I even tell them a story. We were doing this and then doing the live stream, and somebody was gonna walk in doing the live, was doing it at my house.
Mhm.
He was like, "That's okay, just let them walk in, whatever." Oh no, take the phone call.
Mhm.
And I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." But he was like, "No, just do it." And that's one of those things, it was real instead of just making it just whatever, super perfect. I know I don't like to see that. I be wanting to see what they house look like, what this looks like. If there's something over there or something over there, right? It's like, man, just be real and be honest. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't happen a lot. So next we're gonna go on to sports. As we were talking about this too as well, I wanted to talk about the whole Jimmy Butler thing. Because Jimmy Butler, long story short, Jimmy Butler was on the Miami Heat, right?
Mhm.
And they went to several conference finals and several NBA finals. And at one time, he had two players on his team that were starting with him that were undrafted, right? They
Mhm.
were performing well in the playoffs in general. And no one thought that they were ever going to get as far as what they got all those years, right? And to get to the finals twice, but they lost twice. The man was averaging over 30 something points. One of those games he had 50 something, 56 points, whatever. It was crazy, right? They even, as an 8 seed team, they even went to the finals as an 8 seed team. Long story short, he's trying to ask for his money and extend his contract from Miami, and they won't do it because they felt like he's either too old or not producing the way they want to. And Pat Riley was like, "Hey, you didn't win the championship, so you really didn't really do what we needed you to do anyway." So he ended up stop playing, stop practicing, and they ended up trading him. Every team that he's went to, they've gotten way farther in the playoffs. Every single team, right? He's made everybody better around him, and they didn't want to support him and pay him, right? So my question is in that whole thing is when an organization does something, it's like, oh, what's best for the organization? But when an individual person does it, people are like, oh, that person's selfish. They make too much money. They're doing this, they're doing that, right? Do you feel like there's times when you should be loyal to an organization or a company? Or do you feel like you should always be loyal to yourself first, and then whatever happens with the organization or company happens after that?
These are the people you should be loyal to: God, family, and yourself. When I say family, that means your people.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless if they're your real family or not.
Right.
And yourself. Companies, your job, like my job, could be in the paper the next day for it. They could get rid of me and then
For sure.
be in there. So I'm replaceable in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? But you got to hold your value. You got to hold on to your beliefs on what your value is.
Yeah.
What God says you are. All of those kind of things. See me? So, like, remember we used to talk about like there's a gas station across the street from each other.
Correct. Yep.
And it could you could be worth something no matter where you're at.
Correct.
No matter who's next to you or whatever like that. But I know one thing. Look at that. What you got in your hand? What is
Water.
that? Bottle of water.
Spring water.
If you go to Dollar Tree, how much is that worth?
Correct. Like $1.
You go to the gas station, how much it worth?
They taxing.
They tax you. You went to Six Flags and got that water. What would it be?
It's probably double both of those.
Man, you went to a concert at the arena.
Triple all of
Triple
those.
that.
Might be $10.
So it's the same water, but the value is where you're located at.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So
absolutely
go where you would be valued at.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I totally agree with that. Like I feel like too, in the case with him, like the whole Jimmy Butler situation, at the end of the day, man, like he got to do what's best for him. Like any person has to do what's best for them, because I remember telling this to Leah. She was like, "Oh, I never heard that before." I'm just like, you got to do what's best for you, because they're going to do what's best for them all the time, right? You try to be loyal to a place or whatever it is, and they're going to milk you for every single thing.
But you know what they're
Every
loyal
single
to?
thing.
They're loyal to whatever name that is.
What do you mean?
Johnson and Johnson is loyal to what? Johnson and Johnson. They ain't loyal to Adam.
Right.
You know, whatever name is on there, that's who they loyal to. You know what I'm saying? If that's their name, they gonna protect their name.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
If your name is on there, it'd be a totally different story. You know?
Agreed. Yeah, I honestly, man, like I've definitely took the harder route with a lot of things, but I just feel like unless I am very, very attached, or it's like a family business or something, part-time or something, bro, I don't think I can go back, because I've been in places where I'm like, bro, like these people or me or whoever, we're carrying the whole thing, like the whole building or the organization or whatever. And it's not just talking about it, it's like genuine facts. And then to see them make moves or let people go or talk a certain way in front of people, and then when they leave, you hear what they really think.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
Or
once you see on the other side.
yeah, you see the other side, or let me write this email because this person is doing this, and I'm like, bro, there's no loyalty at all in that stuff. So again, back to Jimmy Butler, like I don't blame him at all.
He's got to do what's best for him and his family and all of that. You know,
Yeah.
regardless of my opinion
Right.
about it, you know, or their opinion,
Yeah.
or fans' opinion about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I mean, he's got to take care of his family, and that just goes to what it is. All right, last one, random.
So random stuff. I mean, whatever.
So I do have a question for you too. As far as like, because last time we talked about like hearing
from God
and His voice and
well,
stuff.
let me
that,
say something
right?
before you hold your subject. Hold that on that, because that was a big subject. I got a lot of inboxes about that subject.
People asking what I said, or just in general, or what were they saying?
Just in general, like, oh, what was the rest of it, or that's real talk.
Yeah.
You know, hearing from God.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, and
yeah,
all of that. So that was a big, you know what I mean?
Bro, look, you already know me. Sometimes I can be on the edge where I say stuff that you like, bro, what is wrong with you? But I just try to be, like I said, I try to be honest, and that was the thing. Like, I don't want to resent God or be upset with God for anything, right? Because I know He would never do anything that's not good for me. I know that.
But why would you resent?
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. But if okay, the average person, how many times do they pray on a daily basis, or just in general, right? Let's just say in a week, the average person, how many times do they pray? And how many times, okay, wait, go back. The average person, how many times do you think they pray in a week? Let's just say the average 7 days, right? The average person might pray 3 times, maybe, right? They might say, hey, God, thank you for waking me up in the morning. They might say the grace at dinner one day. Something might happen. They might almost get in a car accident and say, thank you, God, or something. Like, because prayer doesn't have to be long. It can be short, whatever.
Yeah.
Out of those times the average person prays, how many times do they hear God? They probably don't hear Him at all, because they're not used to speaking to God or used to hearing God. Yeah. So I don't want to be that person where I'm praying and I don't hear anything, and I'm like, man, I'm not praying no more. And I'm just being honest, and I want to, right? And that's what I was just saying, right? Somebody said that to me too. They was like, dang, that was powerful. Like, you actually said that on camera. I said, yeah, I didn't think it was that I was being honest. You know what I'm saying?
So what is prayer though?
I don't know.
Is
I don't know.
prayer? How would you define prayer then? I should say.
Prayer is, to me, somebody speaking. They're trying to speak to whoever or whatever they believe in.
So it's
To me, a higher power, I guess. Or
okay. So one of the issues is because people think it's a one-way communication thing.
right.
I'm speaking to them
Maybe you said that. Yeah.
when there should be a conversation going on.
right.
You know, prayer is a conversation to God, of being thankful, what I need, how awesome you are, and all that. But we, like I said, we don't give God a chance to talk. Like, how would your kid know your voice if the kid don't let you talk?
Right. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
I mean, we don't listen enough. And I keep telling people that when we were made with 2 ears and 1 mouth. The double here and the single here.
right.
We need to listen more than we speak.
Right.
And a lot of times it's only complaints. Hey, this is going on with me, Lord. If you get me out of this situation, I'll do this.
That's what I was saying. Yes, exactly.
But that's petition. That ain't prayer.
I didn't even think about it like that. Dang, that's crazy. Now you got me thinking about a whole bunch of other stuff. I didn't even think about that. That's not prayer.
That's petition.
Yeah.
Here's
That's
some
deep.
issues I got, you know. Okay, I'll get back with you. You
That's
know, a
deep.
company be like, okay, I'll get back with you.
Yeah. If that's all they did. And I know.
But who do you
my
do that
goodness.
to? You said,
No, that just
A
made
light
me
bulb.
think. That just made me think when I used to work at a certain place, there was a person, and every time I talked to them, it was something bad. Every single time, it was something negative. It was, can you help me out with this? Do this. And me, I'm just like, dang, man, every time it's negative. It's just nothing positive. And it just makes me think about the same thing. Like if I'm praying or trying to speak to God in general, and all I'm bringing up is negative stuff and talking about negative stuff all the time, right? That's not the purpose, right? What do you get out of that? So that makes a lot of sense. But it's also, bro, honestly, man, it's also hard and difficult to be thankful when things are not going the way you want them to go. You know, that's
there's a Bible verse that says, I will bless the Lord at all times.
all times.
That means good and bad. Does God change because you're going through stuff?
No, of course not.
Are you not thankful just because you're going through stuff? Are you still thankful for stuff, are you?
Right.
Or are you focused more on the bad?
Right.
What's going on now? And we're all gonna go through stuff, trials and tribulations. That's what it says. That's what the word says. We're all gonna go through it. You know what I mean? But we don't have to go through it alone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God is always gonna be there for us. You know, like whether we hear him or not, he is there for us.
That's true.
Have you ever seen your son walk somewhere and you know he's gonna fall?
Have I seen him
Have
walk
you
somewhere and I know
have you
he's
seen
gonna
your little
fall?
son walk somewhere and if he keeps going over there, he's gonna fall? Or
For sure.
but he has to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we can tell him all you want. Hey, don't do that. And he still goes over there and he still fumbles.
He still
and falls.
falls. Yeah.
I told you. Did he not hear me? Did he not see the signs? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we are. there's signs and all that to see that if we keep going that way, we're gonna fall. But sometimes we had to go through that to be there, because no one likes the process. They just like the finished product.
Absolutely.
There's if you read the Bible, there's plenty of times where a lot of the people in the Bible were going through stuff
All the time.
and God was still there.
Yeah.
Talk about being real. Let me tell you something. When I was in the county, Clayton County jail, I did not hear God at all. And a lot of people find God in jail, you know what I mean, or prison or whatever like that. I didn't hear him at all. But I know that he never leaves me or forsakes me, so he was there. Maybe I couldn't hear at that time of what I was dealing with, but he was always there, and I made it out. You know what I mean? So there's times where I don't hear God myself, but I know he's there. And like I said before, we hear God through his creation, through his word and all that. That's why it says that word that I hid in my heart that I might not sin against thee. If you have that word and know, like, man, even though I don't physically hear you or see you, that you never forsake me or leave me. You always be there for me. So if I know that, and that's the word, I hold on to that.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I mean, there's going to be more times where you don't hear God, but know that he's still there. Someone always told me, man, during the test, the teacher's always quiet.
Yeah. You literally look up and it's still there. Cool.